Hello there, folks.
Hi there.
It's another episode of Würfelcast, episode 16, and the topic of the day is top 10 Robinson games. And we're gonna see if it's about Robinson and his games, or it's about games where Robinson is present. Who is Robinson? We don't know. Anyway, we're gonna find out.
Family.
Yeah, but as usual, we're gonna start with a few other segments. And first segment is recent plays. So, Kyle, tell me what you have played so far.
All right. Well, last time you'll recall that I was excited to try Silver Coin. Well, I tried it. I went home to Las Vegas for the weekend and played several games with my brother and sister, and Silver Coin was one of them. And all right, I played it just sort of mixing in the pieces with Silver, but I think we actually ended up trying most of the new characters. We played it a couple of times. It's great. It's just like Silver, just a little different. I enjoyed it just as much, and I think if you had 3 or 4, I think if there are about 5 total sets, it'll be about the perfect number. Not too complicated, and also not too repetitive. So there's Silver Coin. Quite like it.
Okay, that's nice. Why? Yeah, I want to play it again. What else have you played?
What else have I played? Well, we decided, since we were all together, to try Forgotten Waters in person. And
Yeah.
I've already played it several times by myself. I played through all of the 5 stories that come with the box, but we sat down and played through it as a group. The plan had is slowly adding the voice acting for the different chapters. So this was one that I had played before without the voice acting, and now it had it, so that was even better. I really like the game. It's kind of long, and by kind of long I mean extremely long. But if you know that going into it, then it's great, and you've got a great story that goes on. And the game comes down. It ended up being a pretty close. I'm wondering why yeah, there we go. It ended up being a pretty close game, even though we ended up losing. But it's all right to lose in the last moment in a cooperative game. So I really like Forgotten Waters. It's supposed to be coming out in wide distribution pretty soon. And as soon as it does, it's definitely worth your time.
Just to show you, because we usually show this as well.
Yes, we didn't show Silver Coin.
Yeah, we showed Silver Coin. That's why I was like,
oh yes,
that'd be, but yeah, not to spoil anything or whatever there is.
Well, there's not really anything you could spoil by looking at the components. There's not very many components in the game anyway. You could look at the pictures in the book, but each page that you go to is going to have a different meaning based upon when you approach it in a different story. That Turtle Island, I've never seen, the one that's in the picture. It could come up, it could not. And that's the interesting thing, is that even though I've played the game before and the story beats are the same, the way that you get there and the adventures you have on the way, I've not had a single repeat yet. So, and I've played a couple of the games, a couple of the scenarios more than once.
Okay. So, what I have played. So, first of all, I haven't played much, but we had a friend over who we haven't seen for a while. He was called up for the army thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to serve for like 12 months or 9 months. I don't know how much. But yeah, he was long gone, and then now he's back, and he can play games with us again. And he was like, I want to play some board games. And so I was like, cool, let's do that. And so we came over. We also played Jackbox, if you know the this is kind of a party game.
I've heard of them, but I've never played them.
Yeah, that's really cool. If you have the mobile phone, you can just stream it on your TV and things. But anyway, so we played 2 games, and one of them I borrowed to him the previous night, because it was like, I have friends coming over. What should I play? And then I gave him the Grim Masquerade.
And you didn't like that one.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he was like something that he could teach, something light. He's not a gamer and so on, so not into board games that much. But he played few with me, so uh, he said it went through well.
Good.
And we also played it here, but for the first time, I don't know why we always skip that. I think we skipped that because we always played with new folks, but we played with all the modules. And the modules
Oh,
are extremely simple. Yes, you get the treasure tokens. Treasure tokens give you the opportunity to use the action uh, at the end of the round, even if you at the end of your turn, even if you don't have doubles in cards in artifacts. So, and the Green Masquerade, if you don't know, so this is basically like a social deduction game, kind of. Everybody has a character, hidden character, and you want to collect 3 artifacts that you prefer, and it's all in that grim uh, folklore uh, theme going on there. And you don't want to collect 2 of the other like Bane artifacts, whatever they were.
right.
The boo, I don't know.
Boon and Bane, yes.
Yes. So Boon Bane, yeah. So yeah, and if you collect all your 3 artifacts or you're the last one not exposed, then you're fine. You win the game. Yeah, you win the round, and then you go for 3 rounds. So and so the treasure token adds to that. Then there are special abilities. If you are behind with the roses, which are points at the points of the game, you will have a special ability. If you're like last place so far, you'll get a special ability which was based on your character last round, and the special ability will kind of boost your game a little bit, which is also really cool. So it's kind of a catch-up mechanic over there. And the last one is the voting system, or not a voting system, but biddings. How do you tell that? Wager.
Wager, got it.
Yeah,
A
wager.
betting
So
system.
yeah, basically, yeah. If you are out of the round, you may choose a card from the wager cards that you think the character that you think that will win the game. Oh, well, sorry, win the round. And if that character wins the round and you chose that character and you keep it secret, then you also win, even if you were exposed and you're kind of out of the round. So that's really cool. So you still have a chance to win even if you are exposed. So really cool, kind of another catch-up mechanic going on there. And you can always push your luck a little bit. So if you're out of the round, which is really cool, I like that, you can choose that character right away, that card, or you can wait till the turn comes up to you and then choose it. But the more you wait, the bigger is the chance that the round will be over before you get to choose that wager card. So basically, Green Masquerade with those little modules becomes even cooler. Even like, I don't know, more broad. I mean, I don't know how to explain that. So
Got
it
it.
just, I liked more with that. And
Okay.
I love this game anyway. So
Yes, you do. I'm undefeated at it.
you are, yeah. We need to play more. It's a really cool game. Anyway, my second game that I played is Abyss. We played again because he played Abyss long time ago, and he used the strategy of Leviathans. That was almost fine, but he didn't buy Lords, and so he was like, no. He tried to use or do something different, and he failed miserably. But that's fine. Yeah, we still had a great time because as I told you, I have this big play mat, and it's really cool to play in that play mat. I don't know, Abyss is just such a great, not like entry level, but this kind of a light feel, and that you can bust out and play. But it's not that short that it doesn't feel like a filler game. So you can still like do stuff, especially with the expansions. I mean, it just kind of elevates. So Abyss is always great. Yeah, that's my 2 plays. I'm sorry about the longer Green Masquerade talk here. I don't know why. Maybe my brain is dead, but I cannot really find the right words for that game. Maybe it's unspeakably great game.
All right.
that's that. Okay. So let's go to the next segment, which is Desired Play. This is a game that has come out, or maybe has not come out, or has come out a long time ago, but you really want to get it to the table as soon as possible. So, what's your Desired Play?
Okay, now this is well, no, this isn't cheating. I've been really looking forward to this game for a long time, and it finally arrived. And that is the third expansion, I guess the second expansion for Too Many Bones, called Splice and Dice. Now, the game is not cheating because it has a standalone game in it. There's really sort of two functions of this box. One of them is as an expansion to Too Many Bones. It's got, I think, 5 new tyrants that you can fight, a bunch of new baddies that you can add in, and you can just play like that and not do the splice and dice thing at all. But as you see in that picture there, there's a sort of a sub game where you can build up and create your own tyrant, which you can then save and use in a future game as your big bad. Or if you don't want to do that and you just want to play the normal game, there are rules where the tyrant that you're going to fight gradually evolves as you play the game. So you've got sort of something customizable that's going to be different each time. There's already a lot in Too Many Bones, and there's no way that this is going to fit in the current box, although the new big box is coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's just going to add a lot more replayability, a lot more fun to a game that already has a lot of both of those things. So I'm really excited to try Too Many Bones, Splice and Dice, and we'll probably do so tonight by myself.
Okay, nice. So my Desired Play is a game that I had a long time ago. I got it back finally, and it's Topohm or Topohm. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah. So basically, this is a game about a great war, and it's the world of moles, as you can see here. And the cool part about the game is that it seems like an area control game, and it's really not. So it's a line of sight game or something like that. Because what you want to do, you want to build those tunnels, as you can see in the picture, and you want to cut the others. And also you want to, for 2 of your moles to see each other. And if they see each other, they need to change positions. They need to move somehow in order to see each other again. So it's all about, because the moles are not so great, and that doesn't have that great sightseeing. So that great seeing, yeah. So that's why they want to see each other, and they are really happy when they see each other during the World War. I don't know. That's a weird theme. Anyway, yeah. The cool part about this game is that it's not about it's not a war game. And you get points by how far they can see each other, how far apart. And you have those different cards, which are abilities. And the coolest part is that you have those different decks in the box. And you can mix and match them. And you can create a different game each time. It's like with the first class, for example, where you do the different modules together, and then you have a little bit different game each time. Here it's the same. And you can always make the game more peaceful or more aggressive. You can customize the game to your style. And it's extremely simple, and I like that a lot. And I don't know, it's just funny, silly, and very engaging. So Topohm, I got it back. I really want to get it back to the table.
I remember you really liked this game. I was not so as impressed or enamored with it as you were, but I remember you thinking it was really good, so I'm glad you got it back.
When did you play it?
With you at the first board game camp I went to in Estonia.
Oh, did we play it? Okay. Yeah, maybe you should play it again.
Hey,
I like it more.
It's been a couple of years. Maybe I'd give it another chance. But I just remember it not being that amazing, but you've sure talked about it a lot, so maybe I'll have to try it again.
I don't know. Something clicked with me. It's like it's on the level of Mission of a Planet. It's like the simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
like how you can get into the game and just go through that.
Well,
easy, good game. Okay.
no.
All right. So this is my desired play, and let's go to the next topic. And let me just turn off the screen sharing, or maybe not, or maybe let's do it with the screen sharing. But I'm just gonna reset it here because we're gonna do guess that game. Guess that game. It's a small game we do here where we give hints about a certain game to each other, and then we try to guess that game. That's the simplest thing. So maybe you should do a board game. Guess that game, the board game. That would be awful. Okay, yeah, true that. Anyway, Kyle, I think we should start with you.
All right.
So give me a few hints.
Well, last time you'll remember that I gave you a game about gladiatorial combat in an arena, and you failed to guess it. So I am going to give you another game about gladiatorial combat in an arena.
And by the way, as you view this video, you can always try to guess yourself and see if you win. But let me guess now. It's Porticus.
No, it is not Spartacus. Unlike the other gladiatorial combat in an arena game, this one does not take place in ancient Rome. It takes place somewhere else in a nondescript area.
Oh, isn't that the other the gross artwork, the Inside Up game, the trick-taking game?
No, it's not that one.
I never remembered the name.
It's Gorus Maximus. No, it's not.
Yeah.
That game.
Okay.
I would consider that one ancient Rome. This game features dice heavily.
Heavily. Is it the Quarriors?
No, it's not Quarriors. This is a real-time game.
Real-time game.
Set a timer, and you have to do everything within that timer.
Oh. Maybe I don't know that game. Maybe I know it.
This game features a pet dragon.
Oh my god. A pet dragon. Real-time game about gladiatorial kind of a vibe to it. Combat, yeah, and it's a real-time game, and it has pet dragon, and it's outside of the ancient Rome.
Well, because there's a pet dragon. There weren't those in Rome.
Oh my god! I
got one more for you.
Okay.
This game is playable by exactly one player.
Oh, that's why I don't know it. You have one deck done? No, it's not one deck dungeon.
No, that's actually playable by two. No, it sounds like.
I don't know. I don't know the game.
The game is called Proving Grounds. It's from Renegade Games. It came out last summer.
Okay.
It's a great little solo game. It works well. It's fast. It's fun. It's kind of frantic. And well, see, there you go.
It's a solo game, yeah?
Yeah, it is a solo game.
That's why I skipped that. That's why
it dies heavily. I don't know if you can see. You can see the dragon die. That black one represents the dragon.
That's it.
So there you go. I like Proving Ground. Hey.
Yeah. All right. So my game is the first hint for my game is it has dragons. See, we're gonna.
I know it's not going to be Proving Ground. Is it? Is it? What is that game called? The one Dragon Scales.
No, not Dragon Scales.
Okay.
It's a resource conversion game. At its core, basically.
No, not getting that one. Sorry. Well, I'll say Dragon's Gold, even though that's probably not right.
Yeah. This game has a ton of like tarot size tiles, not cards, but it's like more like a tarot size tiles there, or almost that size. A ton of them there.
No, I don't think this is not sounding familiar to me. Those are huge tiles, by the way.
They're, I mean, like they're quite big. Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't want to make cards. I think they wanted to make tiles only. So it has big wooden resources, like really big that they don't fit on the resource like storage thing.
So every game that's ever been made.
Yeah, almost. These are like these are a little bit too big.
Okay.
I don't know why they made them so big.
Not sounding like anything I've played.
Okay, so I have two more. It has acrylic pawns. Like acrylic, like people and dragons and things.
Oh, is it that one from the Romanian publisher?
Yes.
What is that one called? They're now boards and dice. They used to be
NSKN game.
Yeah, it used to be NSKN. I know which one it is. I just don't know the name.
It's
You did a
Simurg.
review on it. What?
Yeah, Simurg.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me just show it for a moment. It's a beautiful game. It's a really cool game. I mean, like the problem with this game is that it's extremely dry and it's really cool looking game. But I mean, these dragons are moving down on those tiles, and it's all about resource conversion.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of sex collection, but all you want to do is make that into that, make that into that, and then you get something. So,
yeah, I've not played Simorg. I know you and I think you did a review of it a couple of years ago, and I wanted to look into it, but then I forgot about it.
That was like 5 years ago, I think. Yeah. 5. All right. So, what's your other game that you?
Okay, my other game is a game of head-to-head combat.
Okay, it's head-to-head combat. It's dice thrown.
It is not. This game does not take place in a gladiatorial arena.
It's head-to-head combat. It's this unmatched.
No. It is a game in a fantastical world.
Fantastical world. Head-to-head. It's probably some kind of a game. I don't know.
It is. All the units and soldiers in this game are made up of cards.
Oh, is it Undaunted or no? It's not.
Undaunted is a World War II game. That's not exactly.
Yeah. That's why I thought like. No. Okay.
The game has several different factions that each play differently.
Oh, factions. Because I first was thinking about Thunder and Lightning, but now factions. It has different factions. Head-to-head. Different factions. It's this... what's this Polish game, Portal Games, what they have this...
Hiroshima Hex?
No. I was thinking about this big game, big box, head-to-head, different factions. They have different winning conditions.
Cry Havoc?
Yeah, no?
No, the units in that are miniatures, not cards.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
The game is from US-based publisher Plaid Hat Games.
Oh, it's Summoner Wars.
No, it's not Summoner Wars.
Oh, Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn.
No, they do tend to do quite a few of those. This was Crystal Clans.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Which was it kind of flew under the radar. I have it, of course, but it kind of, I think it didn't sell well, and it was back in the Asmodee days, and so they just kind of put the plug on it.
I think that Plaid Hat Games made some really bad choices, but maybe they were forced to do them because, like, why would you, even like Ashes, like, it didn't take off as like, if you have Summoner Wars, and then you bring out more and more of this kind of a different but same stuff. They should have gone with something very different.
Well, this game felt like it wanted to be like a Summoner Wars Tactics, sort of like a sidestep from Ashes is a very different game. But I like it. I would never choose this over Summoner Wars, of course. But it's an interesting game where you make these you take the units, which are the cards, and you stack them up, and you make unit groups that move together, and you're trying to control these crystals. And if you get 3 crystals, then you win the game.
Okay.
It's a good game. Not a great game, but a good one that I enjoy. Didn't get a lot of love. It kind of came and it went. I think if Plan had been by itself at that point, it might have gotten some more support, I think. But since it wasn't selling and it was sort of part of a corporate master, it kind of got axed. But there's still a lot out for it. So
okay,
check it out at a thrift shop near you.
Okay. All right. So my last guess that game is based on Norse mythology.
Is it Thunder and Lightning?
Thunder and lightning, it's getting exciting. All right. So every creature or person has a number.
Every creature or person has a number.
Yeah, there are creatures and people for persons.
Is it Odin's Ravens?
No.
I've not played that game, so I don't know.
The numbers are 1 to 8. 1 through 8.
1 through 8.
Not yet. Okay.
Not
Give
yet.
another one.
Okay.
It's a tile laying game. Norse mythology tile laying game.
Norse mythology tile laying game. I'm probably going to have to kick myself after you tell me what it is, but it's not sounding like something I know.
You score for rows and columns. Based on the number.
Rows and columns. Sad to say, no.
Okay. Let me tell you. This is Voluspa.
Oh, I don't think I've played that game.
But you haven't? Okay.
No.
I thought you did.
I think I owned it for a while, but I don't think I ever played it.
Okay, so yeah, it's a really cool tiling game where you put the tiles down and then you want to put down the number that is highest in a row or a column, and then you score points. But if you like, you can put the tile down that it will be in a row and in a column, and then you score points based on that. We'll score more points. But each tile has special abilities. Some tiles negate others, or some tiles score if they are like for example, the 2 score if they are on the edge of column or row, and so on. So, and the Loki is a trickster. He scores not based like usually they score if you have the highest number, but Loki is the trickster. He scores if he's the lowest number zone. So, or something like that. Or I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's really cool tile laying game. Small puzzle. I like that. It has small expansion as well, where you can mix in some other. It's still the same number of those different tiles or numbers, but you can mix and match. Have a different number 3 and so on, like silver and so on. So, yeah, you should try it at some point. It's a really cool game.
All right.
Let's go to the next segment now, which is what's on KS, which means what's on Kickstarter. And what is on Kickstarter? There are games.
Oh, there are lots of things there.
Yeah. So, Kyle, do you want to tell me what did you want to highlight today for the Kickstarter stuff?
Well, the one for today is a game called Bullet Heart.
Okay.
Now that is bullet spelled with letters and heart, which is just a little heart.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. It's the second one down there.
the second one. Okay.
Yep. It's from level 99, which means that the game is going to have way too much stuff in it and take way too long to come out. But will end up being pretty good. I mean, they tend to make games that you can really get into. It just looks interesting. I don't really know that much about it. I just have generally liked most of their stuff. The art style is certainly distinctive. The cover.
You like that art style?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it's sort of their style. Most of their characters kind of have that look to them. It's got a picture of a woman hitting a planet with a baseball bat on the cover, so that's different.
The Red War Star, Esther Volkova, musical alchemist Adelheid Beckenbauer, and then we have eternally bored paper crafter Mariel Martin, technological fanatic Ling Ling Xiao. Then we have Hitwoman surviving from day to day, Senka Kasun. High Centroid Trio Metron. Then we have mysterious Wizard of Times Past. What? Baseball loving gangster. What?
The one who was hitting the planet.
What?
It's going to be kind of a weird game. I'm excited to see more about it. I just you know me, and you know that I don't have a very high filter for these things. So I just generally, when there's companies that I like, I'll go ahead and back whatever's coming out.
Yeah.
But their stuff's usually with maybe one or two exceptions, has been good or great, and so I tend to enjoy what they're putting out. I hope they'll have a box that's big enough to hold everything. I think they've learned that from the past. So the only thing to think about is that this will take a very, 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 very long time to come out. I don't see let's see, what does it say is the anticipated delivery date?
February 2021.
Add a year.
Which is not that long.
Add a year to that with this company.
Yeah.
Well,
add a year to everyone right now.
Some companies are lightning fast and they don't put things out till they're ready. But Level 99 is not that company. But hey, if you know that going in, then you'll be fine. And just expect that the game is going to have so many expansions and modules in it that you'll have a hard time getting it ever played. But that if you really commit to it, it'll probably be great.
Okay. Not my art style. Seems to be abstract.
The game looks abstract. The art style, however, is...
It looks like a Candy Crush type thing.
Yeah. Kind of.
Use patterns and send bullets to your opponent. Okay. Weird. Anyway. That's bullets.
It almost reminds me of, what was that weird game? That weird Czech game about the arena where it was really...
Tashkalar?
That's the one. It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. I really like Tashkalar. It was clever. It was cool.
That was for sure.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm wrong. All right. So my Kickstarter game I want to highlight, and like I tried to highlight not the obvious choices here.
Is this an obvious choice?
I mean, like right now, like the obvious choice number one on Kickstarter is Kemet, basically the new edition of Kemet.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about that?
I do know about it.
Okay, you already backed it anyway.
I just didn't realize that it was obvious choice number one.
I mean, it is. It is.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. It's Chai. And I don't know, it just looks so peaceful and fun.
Have you played the base game?
No, that caught my eye. I mean, I don't know it's this one, but I mean like chai, high tea, and I don't know what it is, but looks really cool. So basically you grab ingredients and you make tea, and then you give it to customers and hope they will not die from your tea or something. No,
I don't
not
remember
really.
that in the game.
Yeah. But this one has this high tea is an expansion, as I understand, and this one has some clear dice, which looks really cool. I don't know, it just looks very cool. This deluxe edition with the metal coins.
Yeah.
It looks very peaceful. Collect ingredients and then match the cards.
Yeah,
Gold points.
it's sort of fulfilling orders, that kind of thing. I mean, I have the base game, and it's a fine game. It's not a very exciting game. So I don't know. Maybe the expansion adds a little bit more to it. But I just always I've played it 3 or 4 times now, and just kind of always felt like it was just okay. Maybe a little bit too simple.
I mean, the expansion's 20 if you want to get the deluxe edition. Then you get 65, and then you want to get deluxe edition plus the other one. It's $80. And it has some really cool cups and things and the game trace insert. And that's really cool. But $80 for the game that looks extremely light in theme and in mechanics, and it probably is very light.
It is.
So, even with the expansion, and I mean, like, the cost here is the deluxe components. But if there is not enough game, the deluxe components won't save that game, in my opinion. But I mean, whoever wants a cool looking game, that's the one.
I mean, if you really love tea, then absolutely, it's an easy choice. Or if you have a family that has maybe some younger players that want something that they can do, I could see that this would be enjoyable. But for me, it just kind of felt like it was a little on the light, a little too light for me.
And it seems a little bit too expensive for these.
It was definitely expensive.
I mean, you could get at some point Scythe for $80, and look at Scythe, and
I mean, I might end up getting the expansion because maybe the expansion's great. I just, I don't know that. And I've heard lots of people really liked the game. I just thought it was merely okay.
Okay. All right. So that's the Kickstarter for you and the Kickstarter game. So let's go to our last segment, the biggest segment and the most anticipated segment, I hope so, which is top 10 Robinson games. So in quotes. And this is top 10 about this top 10 is about the games that. So I was inspired by, if you have seen the Raudos must have, the newest top 10. It must have game, and it has 2 contributors with him, and they talked about must have games where, like, they have, like, an example, they are on deserted island, and then these are your 10 games that you want to play forever. What you're going to choose. And I was inspired by that, and they did only the base game thing there. And I was inspired by that, so we're going to do the base game thing only as well. So these are the games that, if you would own 10 games, I would not do the deserted island scenario here, but I mean, if you would own only 10 games, what would they be? And I think we did it in a different approach. I would say right away, these aren't the games that this isn't my usual top 10. My best 10 games that I love the most, because I had to consider different categories. I had to consider how much replayability it has, and of course, because we did the base game only,
right,
I realized that so many games that I love are like I wouldn't play them without the expansion. So that's how it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, one thing more, that I don't have the order here. So basically, these are top 10. Basically, this is the top of those. But I mean, I did it in a different way. So I chose the categories, which are Ameritrash, Tableau Building, Hybrid, Roll and Write, Engine Building, Heavy Euro, Lighter Euro, Co-op, and 2 fillers, because 1 filler is not enough. So, and I'm gonna name the game for each category. I did it a very weird way, I know, but I think it will be interesting. What did you do?
Well, when you told me I had to pick games without their expansions, I started kind of there, of games that I think are super strong even without their expansions.
Yeah.
And so, games like Summoner Wars, for example, the base game was just 2 factions. And so
Yeah, that's the thing.
that game, thrives because of the life that its expansions gave to it. And so I kind of went through the games. I started there with the games that if I had only these to play for a really, really long time,
Yeah.
that were strong with their base game. I didn't do categories. I just kind of, maybe I did subconsciously, but I just kind of went through and picked the games that I think I could play for a long time and still really enjoy.
Yeah, that's the same for me, but I couldn't choose them. I couldn't put them in order, and I had to approach it a little bit differently. But yeah, there were some games, like just one example is a stockpile, where I tried to squeeze it in, but then realized that the dice, and that's the only thing. Like, I would survive without the bonds and everything else, but I need those dice, and those dice are the module in the expansion. And I would be fine with the base game plus the dice, but nope, against the rules. So, also, I don't know. Did I tell you about that? I think no, but I tried to avoid deluxe and collector's editions and things. I hope you, or because I mean the collector's edition is
about that.
Yeah, but I mean I thought you would realize that, like, for example, like Queen Games does this Merlin big box. It's yes, it is one game, but it's a game with all the expansions. And I also avoided Legacy, because Legacy, I mean, like, yeah, you could put Legacy in, if you really want it, because technically the Legacy stuff is not the expansion; it's the game itself. But all those extra stuff that you do unlock, it's just expansions eventually. So I tried to be as clear and clean as possible with this list.
Okay.
No expansions, not at all.
Okay.
In any way.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. You didn't maybe communicate all of those rules to me. It's kind of
No,
but I think I might have stuck with them anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I didn't, because I forgot to tell you, but I was like you would be fine, because it's obvious that collector's edition is
I'll
not
take Small World Collector's Edition off the list. Fine.
good. Because I mean, like, it's obvious. I mean, Legacy game is not an obvious expansion, but collector's edition is the game with the expansions. So
yeah, in a big fancy box.
Yeah. Okay. But without further ado, let's start with the number 10. So what's your number 10?
My number 10 is a game I talk about all the time, but it is my favorite of this style of game. It's a game it's one of those combat-y, people on a map rolling a lot of exploding dice everywhere games. The game is Chaos in the Old World. You knew it end up. It's a game I really like. It's fine. It has one expansion, but the expansion's not really necessary. It's just one extra faction to play. But the sort of difference of the different characters. I mean, I every time I come back to the game, I get to try and approach something new. And so it's one that I could see myself if I had to limit and slim down and get rid of all the Blood Rages and the Rising Suns and all those things. I could keep Chaos in the Old World and still be happy.
Okay. All right. I've never played that one. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. My number 10, basically because I didn't put them in any order, I'm just going to name the categories within the numbers. So,
are you doing a different list than I am?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, you could put them in any order if you want. I just didn't want to. But for my Ameritrash category, I chose Nemesis. I mean, the base game of Nemesis already has a ton of rules and things going on. and all the rooms that you have. Oh, this is not the real game, but all the rooms that you have, they are you put them differently each time. Some rooms are basically how they are, but the location of each room is in different like different position each time. So when you explore the ship, it's going to be different, and it's a hard game. If you like, and you can play it competitive or cooperative. And competitive mode is like semi co-op, where you have this hidden agendas, like in the winter thing going on there. And sometimes you wanted the ship to survive. Sometimes you want the ship to be blown up. Sometimes you want to be the only one escaping, and so on. But you're trying to survive together. But at some point, you're gonna do your own thing as well, and be the jerk, But I like to play it as a co-op game a lot as well, and it's just an engaging experience. It's extremely it creates stories as well, and it has a ton of those items and things and cards. I don't know, it's just so much game in the base box already that I'm totally fine with that for a very long time. So, and it's all about, if you play the semi co-op, it's about the players interacting with each other, which also kind of evolves. And if you play with new players, you can have a different experience. So, great game and a lot of replayability, in my opinion.
All right. One of these days.
I'll teach you. All right. So, your number 9.
My number 9 is a game I've talked about already today. It's the big cooperative. Well, I tend to have a lot of cooperative games because I like those, but this is a game called Too Many Bones. This is a game that I played. I talked about its expansion earlier.
Times.
Well, could also be called Too Many Rules. I played it, but I had an experience with it this last weekend where I taught it to my brother and sister, and we were just playing the base box. No expansions, nothing at all, and it was fantastic. The game has so much with it already. It has, you'll have different adventures each time. You'll have, if you play it solo versus cooperative, different monsters will come out, different scenario cards will come out, and you can upgrade your character in a bunch of different ways. It is a game that changes every time you look at it. And because of that, it's a game that can be played a lot of times without ever really feeling like you've reached the end. So I would highly recommend, and even in the sort of I'm in the desert island by myself scenario, you can play it alone. So there's Too Many Bones.
All right. I haven't played that one. Maybe someday. Someday. Okay. Anyway, my number 9 or number 9 category is tableau building. And for this category, I chose a game that is not. I mean, there is a tableau building aspect to it because I really love tableau building in games, but I wouldn't say that it's a tableau building game itself, and that's Underwater Cities. But I couldn't choose any other game for tableau building, and I felt like this one has a strong aspect of that because you build the cards in front of you. The cards are very, very strong, very important here. But you also have a ton of other stuff going on. You are building your underwater connections, cities, and then you build the buildings around the cities so they will produce you resources. You build the tunnels to connect all of your cities. And this is a worker placement game. The places on the center of the board are extremely important. What you get, these are the main actions, but you also want to play a matching color card. If you go to the red spot, you want to play a red card, and so on. And the cards are extremely important, and they kind of build up your tableau because you can have some continuous effects. You can have some action cards going on there that you kind of create an engine as well here. So that's a great game, and the base game for me is totally enough. I will play it for a very long time. Also, a lot in this game.
It is. In fact, I've only ever played the base game, even if even if I have the expansion.
I do have also, yes, but yeah, I feel like if there wouldn't be an expansion, I would still play it for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
What's that, by the way? Oh, this is the Russian version.
Okay.
Okay, that's
I've definitely not played that version.
yeah, but I mean, like, it's look at the cover; it's totally different.
Yeah.
Okay, weird. Anyway, what's your number 8? Let's go to number 8 now. Yeah.
My number 8 is a light-hearted, party-ish type game, but I'm also a dungeon crawler, and that game is Dungeon Fighter. Dungeon Fighter, the dexterity game where you are throwing the dice and bouncing them off the table and making them land on the target. And it's just if you want something that's not to be taken seriously, this definitely fits. With one of the expansions, which I know we're not including, you shake the board when to try and get the dice where you want them in. But even as it is, even just the very basic game, you've got so much stuff, and it's good. It fills a different place in your collection than many other games because it's
Yeah.
not like anything else. And the humor and the delight that you get out of playing it is just really something that can't be replicated very easily. So it definitely is one that I would take with me to this island, and it can be played solo. And also, if you only had this game to play, you get really good at it after a while.
Yeah, true that. I mean, like, this is the list here. It's a list where I think the best games to choose are those not always, but I mean, like, those lighthearted games where a lot of interaction is like based on the players themselves, how they behave, and not based on the icons and then strong strategies that you need to follow for a certain game. That's where this list should be relevant, and this game fit it very well. That's Dungeon Fighter. And words are escaping me. I don't know, I'm just brain dead already. I'm sorry, it's almost night and I'm very tired. But anyway, my number 8 is number 8. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my number 8 category is hybrid. And hybrid games are this perfect match of theme plus the Euro mechanics, but you don't feel like that it is like a Euro game, but it's still a Euro game. And for that, I choose Scythe. And I know that Scythe is amazingly great with the last expansion, and it is.
And the first expansion.
But and the first expansion adds 2 more factions that I'm not really keen to play. I don't know, don't like them that much. But I mean, like, the base game of Scythe is, I mean, like, it's a lot because you can have different mats. Then you can choose different factions, and you want to play with the same faction more than once. You want to play quite a few times, so you can get used to that faction, their strong abilities, and so on. So the encounters, they give you different bonuses each time, and it's kind of repeatable, repeatable game. But on the other hand, it's a very engaging hybrid game that you can play for a long time, even the base game, and not get tired. And I do really like this simple action round thing going on there, that you choose just one section of your player mat, and how you upgrade yourself by upgrading, you make the upper row stronger, and the down row you make cheaper. So it's win-win situation here. So I do really like that, and Scythe is a great game.
I considered Scythe as well. I do think it depends heavily on some of its expansions. For me, but it certainly is good out of the base game. I mean, I just, as you were talking, looked up how many times I've played it. It's only 146. So,
Yeah. So I mean, how much have you played the base game itself? I mean,
well, of those, I think probably more than 50%, probably in the 70% has just been with the base game. Or see, the thing is, the first expansion almost doesn't feel like an expansion because
yeah.
you it on the board. And so I don't know. I didn't look at it. I didn't have an. I could look it up and see, because I don't know if I always record which faction I play. I do nowadays, but I don't think I always did. But I think lot of it has been just the base game factions.
Yeah. This is also a weird choice for me, because I said that there were quite a few games that I will not play without the expansion, and Scythe is the one. I really like the modules in the last expansion. I don't want to play without them. But if that would be the situation where I can have only the base game and 10 games, I would still enjoy Scythe very much, even without the expansions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I considered it.
So, yeah. Okay, let's go to number 7. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Scythe. Not only did I consider it, I also put it on my list.
Oh, you sneaky bat. Okay, so
no more commentary needed.
True that. But you're also fine with only the base game.
I am, because like I said, I've probably, of the 146 times I've played it, probably around 70% of those have been just base game factions. I mean, I almost never use the airships.
Oh, I don't use them at all. I mean, like, we tried to use them during the campaign once.
I like the campaign stuff, but lots of my plays of Scythe came out before the campaign stuff was even there. So I think 70% is probably fair that I've played with just the base factions or with the 2 expansion races, but I just don't have a way to track that.
But yeah, but just to mention for the other folks out there, if you're considering the last expansion for Scythe, just get it. It is kind of essential, because I don't know, if you love Scythe, you need to get the last expansion, because it just adds so much greatness. But on a deserted island, you can play Scythe without those expansions,
and you can play it by yourself.
Yeah. All right, so my number 7 category is roll and write. And for the roll and write, my evergreen roll and write game is, you probably know, Dice Stars.
How are you going to get more pads on that island?
I don't know. I'm gonna just throw them on the sand. Something like that. Or just get on a tree or something like that. I don't know. You can do something. You can figure it out.
Okay. So laminated dice stars with plenty of pens.
Yeah. I mean, it already has a ton of pads which are double-sided. You can play it solo as well. I mean, it's not a problem.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, Dice Star is extremely simple. That's why I like it so much. Out of all of the roll and writes, and it seems like the world has, like the board gaming world is getting crazy, because everybody, even like especially right now, during this crisis, everybody is putting out a roll and write, which is like, you can print it out and use the usual dice, the standard dice, and do that, and then everybody needs to make a roll and write game out of their standard base game. For example, I just saw the Queen Games having roll and writes escape.
I saw that.
For example, I mean, like, you don't need to make every game into a roll and write game. I mean, like, don't. I mean, like, it's too many, and they are mostly the same. And they try to kind of squeeze an idea of a bigger game into the small game. and it's mundane. It's boring usually. So I've tried quite a few run rights. Anyway, Dice Stars, very clean, very engaging, very simple. Just love it. That's my roll and write category.
Okay.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is a game that also I thought about this and I thought I really love all the expansions, but when it comes down to it, I often just play the base game because I'm often just teaching it to people. And it's a game, it's a deck building game that I love, and that game is Clank.
Yeah, I consider that. But
I mean, I love the expansions, the different boards and a few more cards, great. But I like the legacy version. But I think if I needed a deck building game and this is the only one I could play for a while, it sort of has enough of other things to mix with the deck building that it ends up being just a really good game that I enjoy and would be able to play for a long time.
Yeah. So,
and you've got 2 boards in the box.
Yeah. I also do really like Clank. I consider that. I was like, should I put the base game? But I mean, like, I like the legacy version a little bit more than the base game Clank. And that's where the conflict came in, because I thought that I shouldn't put the legacy onto this list. And I was like, okay, let's then skip Clank. Plus, I don't have deck building category in my top 10.
Okay.
I can live without deck building. Kinda.
Very well.
All right, my number 6 category is engine building. And now when I thought about different, like, I was sneaky because I put Underwater Cities into Tableau building and Scythe under Hybrid. Both are engine building games, by the way, but I do love them. But my engine building game choice is Aquatica here. And I consider many others as well, but many of them are... Many games are great with expansions. So, but Aquatica, I feel like there is enough. I don't know if we played only... I think we played only the base game. You didn't have any expansion.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't have any expansions because I felt like there's enough.
There were a couple of small expansions in there, but they're just really... I mean, the game I don't think has any expansions. The base game comes with a couple of extra modules in it.
Oh, you mean that way? Okay. So
yeah,
not
I don't
the
think
official.
there's any expansions for it at all.
I mean, if like the modules within the base game, it's fine.
Yeah.
This is like it was designed to be the base game.
The game comes with, I think, the modules it has are a couple of different of those royal cards or whatever, the ones that you get the unique one of, and then different goals. So
okay.
But those are the only modules, well, in the solo rules. But as a solo game, Aquatic is not all that great.
Okay. But anyway, Aquatic, great looking game. The water theme here. And it's rather simple. And I really like this mechanism of sliding cards that you use those icons. And it is a really different kind of engine building, very fresh one. That's where I feel this would fit this list, because I'm maybe a little bit tired of those traditional engine building games. This one does it a little bit differently. And I think I would play it many, many, many times. And not get tired.
Good.
That's Aquatica. Your number 5.
My number 5 game is a game that I really like. It's a good old-fashioned dry Euro game. There were really 2 I was wrestling with putting in this slot, both of which I love kind of for them set by themselves. But the one that I ended up settling on is the good old-fashioned game of Concordia. Concordia is a game where... I still think you haven't played Concordia.
No.
It's not the most beautiful looking game, but it's a game where you've got a hand of cards and you're playing them, and then you play one card that picks them all back up in your hand, and you're gradually improving your cards if you want. You don't have to, though, and you're moving around the board and building your little houses, and then each card that you have is going to affect how you score. And so what you end up going for in terms of where you're placing your things is also going to is going to sort of influence which cards you decide you want to buy just for the scoring, even if you never use them. It's a great little game. Now, the expansions, there's one expansion that added an extra resource, which I really like and always play with, but even without it, it's okay. And the other ones are just maps. Different maps, but it's the same game. I mean, the game isn't really that different if you play it in Egypt versus playing it in Great Britain. It's kind of always still the same, and it's really good. I really like Concordia, and it's one of those Euro-y games that I could always play and never get tired of.
Okay. All right. Yeah, as I told you, I never played this one. All right, my number 5 category is heavy Euro game. And we're getting to that Euro stuff. And my choice would be Anachrony. Anachrony already has a ton in the box. I mean, like, the Mind Clash games, they make the games that are, like, huge, sprawling, but great, thematically great, and mechanically great. And in this game, there are some random factors, like what resources come up, what buildings come up, what workers come up, and based on that, each game can be a little bit different. You need to approach it tactically. Sometimes you get anomalies, sometimes you're not, and you need to consider different steps. I think the base game also has a few modules. I haven't even played with the modules, and I don't know when or if I will play with them. I don't know exactly, but there were like 1 or 2 modules with the base game itself.
That's true.
What?
Yeah, I said that's true. There are.
Yeah, so you can get even more.
Question. Do the plastic ships count as the plastic robots count as an expansion or not?
I would say not. I mean, like it's on a thin.
It's a box here. You can play the game without them, but they're so nice.
Yeah, I mean, like this is kind of a deluxe upgrade component thing. It's not an expansion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you would only buy a base game from the retail store without it having the deluxe components and things. So anyway, just the base game, even without those robots, of course they're great and I want to play with them, but you can also play without them. They're just a piece of art. So but yeah, Anachrony, great game, a lot to explore, great strategy, many tactical decisions. I just see it being evergreen for me. I don't know. It just always.
It's a good game. I like Anachrony. I need to play it again, but I like it. I like it.
Good. All right. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is the newest game on the list. It's a game that I have played already many times since it came out in January of last year, and that is Wingspan. Wingspan's my engine building game of choice. Like I said, I'm not doing it by category, but I'm thinking of games that by themselves you can play a lot. And this is a game that by itself, it has the one expansion, but the expansion is not necessary. It's only nice. And honestly, I really can't tell where one expansion ends and the other begins. But it's a great game with lots of different cards in it, lots of different things to try. And you can explore. I don't think I've ever tried the same sort of strategy in one game versus another, because what you do is going to be adapted depending on the cards that you have and the goals that are available and the different things that other people are doing. So, I mean, I've upgraded mine, but even with the base game, it's still very nice. And it's a game that I just always love playing. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. It looks good. It's not too long. It's also not too short. It's just really a good Goldilocks game right there for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Giving you an idea for another list.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. I consider Wingspan. The thing is that maybe those gold tiles, there should have been more of them. That's a minor issue I have with only the base game. I mean, like the expansion add some.
It does. It adds them, but I've played it a whole lot of times without them. So
Yeah, yeah. I really do like Wingspan as well, but it lost to Aquatica. I was considering either Wingspan or Aquatica, and I feel that Aquatica for me is a stronger game.
Now I've only played Wingspan 71 times, so that's.
I know I played Aquatica only once, but I already felt that it was a stronger game than Wingspan. It just maybe because of the, I do love Abyss. Abyss is not on my list because Abyss is great with the expansions.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I do love Abyss, and maybe the connection between the two, Aquatica has the similar theme. That's maybe where click with me more. Okay. Still, yeah, that would be my number 11, as I used to say it.
Okay.
Whatever doesn't fit the list, you always put it at the 11. That's how the Dice Tower taught us. Okay. My number 4 category is lighter hero. So sometimes I want to play a heavier one, sometimes I want to play a lighter one. And you might say that it's not light for you, but it's kind of is. It kind of is because it's easy, and that's First Class. And First Class comes with the modules, and it's all about the modules. But it's a base game. It's a base game when you mix and match different modules, so it's a highly replayable game. Not all the modules are good though, or you can choose what modules you like or not.
I played 4 of the 5, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this game already has a ton of replayability, and it's just such a satisfying kind of an engine building as well here, or tableau building. It's a different type of engine building here, but you build yourself up. That's what I like in games. And drafting cards from the center, it's similar to Seven Wonders Duel as well. I like Seven Wonders Duel where you draft the different cards, and the system here is that if you draft certain cards from the row, that whole row will go away. So the last cards that are left in that row, they will be gone. Sometimes you need to make those really difficult choices, and so on. So do I really want to get that card, or I want to get another card so that the row will be gone and another player will not get their choice, So it's similar for me, the vibe to Seven Wonders Duel, where sometimes do I choose this card, then I have to reveal the other two, or choose the other one and not reveal. I just like that. It's a point salad game. I feel like every time I play it, I'm not tired of that, though. You always build the same thing, kinda.
It's a train.
It's a train. You build train that way, and then you build 2 trains that way and 1 train the other way.
In that game.
What? What would you say?
I said you're guaranteed to build a train in that game.
Yeah. It kind of goes the same path, but I mean, it depends on the people who draft the cards, in what order they come up. I don't know. It's just such a great game. Very engaging, rather easy. I mean, a highly replayable one. Yeah.
It's good.
Number 3.
Number 3. All right. I'm on an island, all by myself or with others.
Oh,
I have planning to bring 10 games, but not their expansions. And one of those 10 games on this island is ideal because this island is inhabited by evil spirits who want to kick me off. And that game is Spirit Island.
Okay.
I mean, it's a game that I just love. It's, in the base game, there are lots of different spirits. 6, 7, 8, I can't keep. The problem is that I had it in in its one expansion that sort of came out on the same day. They're mixed in my mind, so I don't know which is from one, which is from the other. But as a base game, it's really good, and it comes with several different modules in there. There's the two different nations you can fight against, and there's a bunch of scenarios you can play through with different rules. You can play it with one spirit, or you can try and control two. They all do different things. They all play differently, and it's just a really exciting game with a puzzle that's going to change each time based upon what you've chosen to do, which of the 4 island boards you have, which of the 8 or so spirits you have, which nation you're fighting against. It's going to be just an ever-changing puzzle and thematic for being stuck on an island.
Yeah, I do consider it to be a really good game. The problem I have with this game is that first of all, a lot of rules, a lot of management going on there, and also this kind of as you say, this is a puzzle game, and I'm not into kind of this extremely difficult puzzles I need to solve. Cooperative games like Legends of Under, it's not a good game. But anyway, I don't like it at all. But I mean, like Spirit Island is kind of the same, because I feel like in this game, I feel scripted. I feel like this game is scripted. The flow of the game itself. Now, I mean, like the situations can be different, but the flow is very scripted. You do that, and then you do that, and then you do that, like segments, like our Würfel cast. So that's where, for example, Nemesis for me is not that scripted, because each time I'm going to explore, I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to explore a different room, or I feel like I have a free roam. Here, I feel like it might start the same, and then of course spread out different way, but still be scripted. Still my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a perfect game to play alone on a desert island, and the bad guys, the people invading it, their sort of phases are scripted so that you can kind of plan, and that's what allows you to sort of navigate the puzzle. Because if they were just popping up everywhere randomly, then it would be a very different experience, and I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much.
Of course, yeah. But
so,
that's where I don't like that kind of a thing. But still a great game. I do.
You need to play it more than once.
No, I don't feel like playing it again. But let's go to my number 3, and I also have a cooperative game. So we are doing we're kind of doing the categories.
Kind of, except it's a second cooperative game.
And my choice for cooperative game, and I felt like I have some bigger games, some more sprawling games here. So I thought like I should, because I still consider it as a one list, 10 games. I'm on an island. I have only 10 games. So I tried to choose a lighter one. But on the other hand, I do love it to the bits. And that's The Last Expedition.
You do love that game.
And this is also, the thing is that on one hand, this is very scripted. You go through this jungle. On one hand, now, let me tell you. On one hand, you just need to survive. One of your characters needs to survive and reach the end of this jungle. You need to use the movement symbols in order to reach that. And the path is kind of scripted, but it's really not, because each time you get different cards. If you play with others, each of you will have different cards each game, or different set of cards, and how you play them can be very different each game. So the puzzles, the mini puzzles themselves are different each time. Not scripted at all. And sometimes you do this based on the number you need to, and then sometimes you just play them out. And you just need to solve the order of the cards in a way that you will not be dead by the second jungle card, And it can be frustrating. The luck can be not on your side, but can be on your side. If you feel like you have been playing it really well, you can up the difficulty even more. You can play against each other, by the way. In a two-player game, you can play the mode where you play against each other, like you play cards in two central tracks. You know, so you create two paths, but you create them both at the same time, which means that if one of the paths will be shorter than the other one, and at some point you like I don't remember exactly how you choose one of the paths, but there was something about that. You want to make them as equal as possible, or if you know that you will get the shorter path, then you will make it shorter. So anyway, the two-player game is also great. But in this one, yeah, I just love this kind of a simple approach to the puzzle within the cards. This is a different kind of puzzle, in my opinion, to the other ones.
Okay.
So love it. And very much replayable with just the base game. You don't need anything else because it's a really short game.
But there's the werewolf in the expansion.
Yeah, I played the expansion. I do really like the expansion. I want to play. The expansion has different modules. I want to play with the expansion, and I would play with the expansion because I have it. But I've played it mostly. I played 90, whatever. I don't know. I played expansion only one time.
Okay.
All the other plays are without the expansion. So
Good.
That's it.
There you are.
Let's go to number 2.
Number 2. All right. So number 2, remember, we're on this island, right?
Yeah.
And there's these spirits that were trying to exterminate us, but we finally overcame them and decided to, on this island, build an amusement park and fill it with dinosaurs.
Okay.
So this my number 2 game that I would take with me to the desert island is Dinosaur Island. Dinosaur Island by itself, I mean, okay, again, love the expansion, but by itself, it's a group. By itself, there's a lot there. There's a whole bunch of different things you can try. You can focus on making small dinosaurs that are just really safe and never letting anybody die. There, you can focus on having a big, exciting park full of things that everybody dies, and you have to sort of find a way to mitigate that. There's a bunch of different special abilities. The game comes with a bunch of twists, and you play with 2 different twists each game. So there's going to be some sort of different rule that makes things harder or easier. Different goals. You can play long, which is really long. You can play medium, which is just the right length, or you can play short, which means after 10 minutes you're done. There's just a lot there in only the base game, and it's a game that I'm just always able to go back to. It's neither a heavy Euro nor a real sort of interactive game, but yet it is. And there's a whole lot of fun just to be found in only the box that you can buy off the shelf. So that's my number 2. Dinosaur Island.
Okay. Never played this one. Maybe I will at some point.
You need to play this one, especially because
I should.
If nothing else, because I talk about it on every list we do.
True. You try your best.
Well, it fits this time.
All right. So
it didn't fit last time, but
so my number 2 category is a filler game. My number 1 will also be a filler game, but one of them, my number 2, is a filler game that I played the most out of all the filler games that I've played. And this filler game has been a hit with many of my colleagues from work that are non-gamers, and they would play a few games with me if I would like teach them and so on. But and they would never come and say, like, let's play a board game. But Red 7 has been a huge hit. And Red 7, I got a bit tired of Red 7 because one summer, I mean, like, I had to rest from it like just a little bit at some point. But it's I mean, like, it's filler game. But during one summer, I played Red 7 a ton with one of my previous colleagues from work, and I can still play Red 7 right now. The thing is that, like, it's those 10 games, so I can play this game one day, the other game another day, on this deserted island. So it's not like I have to play only Red 7 for the rest of my life. That's where I would get tired of that. But I mean, it's simple. It's colors, it's numbers, it's rules. And at first, I said it's simple. At first, these people I taught it to were kind of confused. The second game, they were like, but they were confused, but they were interested. And they were like, let's play another round, because I want to understand that. The second play, they were less confused. And the third and the fourth play, like few plays in, they got that. They caught that Red 7 virus, where they wanted to play more and more and more. And as you play more, like, for example, if I play with somebody new, it's not always that interesting, because if I play with that same person we played with like 150 times already, together, if I play with him, we have such a neat understanding on how to play each card in our hands. Those small strategic tactical choices that you have, opportunities that, like, we can see through each other and how we do things and how we build up our palette, which is not as easy at first when you play it. For the first few times, you need to just understand the flow of the game. But after like a dozen of games, maybe you will start to see how to form palette in a better way and so on. So I don't know, it just works each time, and I still play it. And it's been here like from 2014. Yeah, it's for 6 years, or at least for 5 years. I have been playing this game, and it's still one of my favorite filler games, if not my favorite. So,
all right. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. It just never really did it for me. I can play it, but it's sort of like, But I do know a lot of people really enjoy it. So
it's a hit or miss. I think it either clicks or not. That's how it is.
Yeah, it clunked with me, but that's okay.
It clanked.
Well, in space.
In space. I want to scream at night. Okay, so let's go to the final one. Number one.
Well, so my number one, since you told me I couldn't have expansions, it immediately knocked a couple of games that I like more than this one a little bit off the list. But this game has no expansions. This game has been out forever and has no expansions. It's the same game every time you play it. And
chess?
Every time you play this game, it's not chess. I don't really love chess. My number one, I would take it with me to the desert island game, assuming I had someone there to play with me on this desert island, and has nothing to do with an island, is Twilight Struggle.
Okay.
Twilight Struggle, good old classic, but it is a game that I get so much enjoyment out of. It is a game that gets the adrenaline rushing through my blood like no other. There are moments of tension in every single play. It's a game about mitigating negative circumstances, about finding the right time to make a subtle gain that will win you the game. It is a game of history, a game of story, a game that just replays itself over and over again. Yeah, it doesn't look great. We talked about it last time. It's, there's really only two sides with very little nuance, but because of the way that once you know what the deck is going to hold, and once you know what's going to come, it just gets so much richer and so much deeper, and you can make really good choices and sort of anticipate things, and the story and the flow of the game just is so overwhelming. There's also a variant in the box if you want to play a shorter version. Hey, you can. It's good. It's not as good as the full version, but I just really like this game, despite some of its flaws. And I'm well aware of what those flaws are. But even then, and even if I can't have my deluxe version, which isn't all that great, this is the first game I would take because it is a game that I could play a number. I'm going to have to check and see how many times I've recorded plays of it.
Okay.
I told you I could play it for a long time. Let's see, how many recorded plays of Twilight Struggle do I have? 163. So
Yeah.
And that's just since I've been recording. There were probably another 20 or 30 before that, and that's just playing the same game. So there you go. Twilight Struggle, my number one game to take to a desert island.
Yeah. If I would do my games in a certain order, you inspired me to, like, I have the same words for like Nemesis, which I had as the first game. But if I would do the manual order, my top one would be Nemesis because it also creates tension and stories. Like everything you said about Twilight Struggle, same for me with Nemesis. But I did them out of order, and so
Who knew that a top 10 list had to have an order?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want if it's your channel. Woohoo! Anyway, my last one is a filler game and a little bit anticlimactic, I think, but still, and it's extremely anticlimactic because we talked about this game today, and my last choice would be not my last choice, but yeah, last game I want to talk about is the Grim Masquerade. And that's where it has few modules in the box. It doesn't have any expansions. But the Grim Masquerade is all about the people. And very simple mechanics. And that's where, as I tell you, I think shorter games have, shorter games with kind of a social interaction have a much longer lifespan, overly, in my opinion. And we already talked about Green Masquerade. It's a great game, and I always want to play it. And I will play it another 200 times and not get tired of that.
All
especially
right.
with the modules that it has. I mean, like it's in a, this game is in a vein of other, it's in a vein of like not werewolf, but it's kind of a team based or character based games. It's that kind of a game. It's gonna be evergreen for me because I don't know, it's just so simple and engaging.
Yeah, it's really, I really like it. I can, this is one I can get. Red 7 I could take or leave, but this one I do really enjoy. So I mean, I've only played it that one time with you, but I could see it's one that, like, when I was thinking of games to take home last week, I almost brought this one because it's one that I could see a lot of people liking, and so, and it's also not one that everybody has, so that's also good.
Yeah, I don't know why, but anyway,
marketed that well. It didn't come through Kickstarter, and it didn't get a whole lot of buzz when it came out. Maybe it came, in between other things. The theme itself is, been done a little bit, but the game the game is really good. I like Grim.
The theme, yes, because they used the theme from the Grim, the bigger game they have, the Grim. What?
The Grim Forest?
Yeah, yes. I do really enjoy Grim Forest as well. So I was like, but this one sounded different. It was like, hidden roles and things. I don't know if I like it that. And
yeah.
I got it after the Kickstarter. I got it from the
no, this didn't have Kickstarter.
Oh, I didn't have. Okay.
No.
Because I got it not long, but it was already out for some time, and then I got it.
It came out last summer.
Yeah, I think I got it this year, maybe at the end of the last year. I don't remember.
No, exactly. That's not true because you taught it to me in January. Had you just gotten it?
Maybe the end of the year, November, December, I think. I mean, like somewhere there. So, yeah, and I feel like I don't know what I wanted to say. But one thing about this one is that as you told, you wanted to take it with you to play with your family,
Mm-hmm.
and I already told you about my friends who borrowed it and played with some non-gamers
Mm-hmm.
who probably played maybe werewolf and
Yep.
maybe hearts at most, and maybe chess. So, and my girlfriend also took it home to her parents, and they played it and they really liked it as well. So it seems like it's a very accessible and approachable game. So
Well, I mean, I ended up taking silver instead, but this was the one that because I usually take just a small bag if I'm going home for a couple days, but this is a good game. I can get behind you on this one.
yeah, the problem with silver and the same, I would consider silver. The problem with that with the families in Estonia here is that it has a lot of text. I
That's
mean, like every card has text. Here you can explain the usual actions and everything else is just
and there's
pictures.
there's no real text in it. That's right.
Yeah. So that's why. But you told about silver. I really want to get silver into my collection.
Well, I know someone who's a member of the Bezier Games Wolf Pack.
That would be nice. Anyway, that's it for today's list. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm sorry for my dead brain, but
What's your excuse every other day?
I mean it is. I'm just when it comes to this kind of it's almost midnight here, so I don't know.
That's fine. We got through it.
I bought a bike a few days ago.
Oh yeah, I saw pictures of that.
So we've been cycling a ton, and I haven't been cycling in like 10 or 12 years. So that's why right now I feel extremely tired because I'm not used to sports anymore. And now I did some sports and I'm extremely tired. That's how it is usually. So that's why. Anyway, that's it for today's show. We're gonna continue with the show.
We're well under 2 hours. Wow, good job. Good job, us.
Yeah. And we prolonged it a little bit. So
we'll keep getting it shorter.
Eventually. We'll just throw the game in and then I choose Nemesis. That's it.
Oh, then it's Summoner Wars, but that's there we go.
Okay, and a Pokemon fight. Okay, but we're gonna be back at some point.
Is that or a threat?
It's a threat. A good threat. A good vibe threat. I was thinking, I'm not sure how it will work, but we might try to keep it more like on the plan of like being it on Wednesday. So we'll see about that. But it's something for me and Kyle to discuss.
All
but
right.
We'll see. Maybe the Wednesday will become the day of Würfelcast. You'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So, bye-bye and have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.